It's time to cook with Susan Beck. Well, today I am going to make chicken stir fry. This summer I was making some rice cooker videos and I had served some of my rice on Chinese stir fry, and I said at the time you'd have to watch for future videos. Well, it's been a while, but here I am ready to show you how to make a chicken stir fry. This stir fry can easily be made with beef as well as chicken. The only change is I would use beef stock if I'm using beef instead of the chicken stock that we'll be using today. We're going to get this started by getting our rice underway. I have my rice cooker filled to line 3, and I'm going to be adding in 3 cups of rice. Now that will serve the family of 4 pretty well. Just read about your rice cooker, or if you don't have a rice cooker, read on the package how much rice per serving and make it according to the manufacturer's directions. Alright, I think I need another cup in there. Let's see how we're doing there. Looking for 3 cups. I'm still a little low, so again, I'll put a little more in. I used my rice cooker in the videos for hard-boiled eggs, for some desserts, for rice pilaf. What else did I do? Brown rice and white rice, so check those out if you are interested in how this little machine works. We just plug it in and push down the button, and I like to get that started right away. There is a warmer on that, so it will stay warm if it's done before everything else. I also think it's a lot easier to make stir fry if you have everything prepped ahead of time. So I am going to start here with my vegetables, and I am going to peel 2 carrots today, and then I have an onion I am going to cut up, and my broccoli is already broken into little flowerets and has been washed. Saving all my little scraps over here for my chickens. They just love these fresh vegetables. Chickens love carrot peels, if you didn't know that. So any fresh things like this, my chickens miss my garden as much as I do. This is an awesome meal to make in the middle of the summer when your garden's going strong. And I am going to just use half of this pepper today. Doesn't matter, I'm using a yellow pepper today. Any colored pepper will do. I'm kind of doing this off of my son Nathan's favorite things. He likes, I don't know why, but he likes yellow peppers better than red peppers. Yellow and red are a little sweeter than the green peppers, I think. I definitely like orange, yellow, and red ones better than the green. Alright, so we got about half of that. And then let's go ahead and take care of these carrots while I'm at it. Another thing that my son really likes is he likes his carrots cut julienne style. So rather than cutting them into little rounds like this, he prefers that I cut them into like little matchsticks. So I'll do that in honor of him today. I guess the reason I always think of him, even he is here and I'm going to enjoy this meal, so obviously I think of my family as I'm cooking, but this is a recipe that he came home with after having taken a home economics class when he was in middle school. He's usually the maker of this. In fact, I usually try to get him to be the chef on stir fry nights. The 2 carrots are now in those julienne strips, and we're going to move on to the onion. This is an onion from our garden this summer. We're still using those, and I think a little onion always adds a nice bit of flavor. Now this is a gigantic onion, so I'm only going to probably get about ½ a cup, maybe a little bit more, of onion pieces into my stir fry. When you're judging it, it's probably easier to judge by the quantity of onions versus the size of the onion, because you can buy pretty small ones and some fairly good sized ones. Alright, I don't mind those if they're a little bit chunky in stir fry, so we're going to call that good as well. We will be using some garlic and some ginger when we cook our meat. We're going to cook our chicken with the garlic and ginger. We'll remove it from our pan, and then we will add the vegetables and then return the meat to the skillet afterwards. So I will be using 2 cloves of garlic today. One way to get that outer part off is just to take the side of your knife and break that like husk around it. And I'm going to use my mortar and pestle today that I got for Christmas last year, and I just thoroughly enjoyed having it this year. Alright, next garlic clove in. What's nice about this mortar and pestle is it's just quick pound, 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 and you break it all up and it's ready to go. And it's just a lot easier to clean up than some of those like presses where you have to kind of pick it out of all the little holes. And next it's time for the fresh ginger. So I have part of a ginger root here that I'm going to use, but they come in these knobby little tan roots here that you can just pick them up at any grocery store. Even my little local grocery store carries these. And I'm just going to peel some of the outer skin off of that and then use my grater to slice it. Now these are, last me a long time. I really don't go through that much ginger. I only want a tablespoon or two tonight. And so as I grate this up, I'll tell you my trick for storing it is to put it into the freezer. I just put it into a little plastic baggie and remove as much of the air as I can and stick it in the door of my freezer and just leave it there until I use it another time. And they last quite a long time for me that way. So we have some grated ginger also to go into our stir fry. Alright, let's move the vegetables out of the way and we'll move on to the meat. I'm going to switch cutting boards. I have a marble one here. I like this for chicken better than the wood ones, just for cleanup and worries about, salmonella poisoning and things like that. When you're working with chicken, you don't really want to cross-contaminate. And that's another reason I cut my vegetables before my chicken. So I have probably a little over a pound here of chicken. So I'm going to use about half of it today. That's entirely up to you how much you use of each of your vegetables. We, at our house, I tend to make it with a lot of vegetables and not as much meat, but you can do that however you would like. Proportions of those things are really up to you. So sometimes you get those little, I don't know what they are, little fibrous pieces that don't want to cut. So get rid of those in your chicken strips. Now any boneless, skinless chicken breasts work great for this. I happen to find on sale some of these little chicken tenders. So these are already somewhat in small pieces. Just finished washing my hands. It's always a good idea after handling raw chicken to wash between handling the chicken and your other ingredients. I'm going to set that off to the side there, and we're going to be working on making our broth and what makes the liquid around the stir fry. So we're going to use 2 cups of chicken stock and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Easier to get down at eye level when measuring those liquids to tell if you've got the right amount. And in addition to that, we will add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Cornstarch will allow it to thicken a bit as it cooks. And you want to mix this with your liquid. Don't try to put the cornstarch in after you put the liquid into your frying pan, or you will end up with a lot of lumps. Alright, that is ready to go as well. I will be frying today with some sesame oil. You can use olive oil or vegetable oil or canola oil, any kind of oil is fine, but the sesame oil does give it a little different flavor that I kind of enjoy. So we'll be moving over to the stove now to do the actual cooking. Look at those gorgeous vegetables. I just love all the bright colors when you make stir fry. Now that everything's ready to go, we will heat our skillet. Let's talk about options. I used to own a wok, but my wok died, and I decided that I really didn't need that large appliance taking up so much space in my pantry. I also own this deep-sided skillet, which I have used many, many times. But tonight I'm going to try our new skillet. We just got a stainless steel skillet, and I'm going to use that. So my point about all the different skillets is don't let stir fry scare you because you don't think you have the right equipment. all you really need is a pan that you can put on the top of your burner. So I am going to heat this pan. I'm going to put it like on a medium-high heat. I am just getting used to using this stainless steel skillet. We've only had it for like 2 weeks. But one thing we've learned is that you really should get it hot first before you add anything else to the pan. So we're going to start off with this just heating up, and then I will be adding my sesame oil. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that to heat, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Chelsea, who got me all these monogram time to cook things. I've got some hot pads in my drawer, as well as some new tea towels and something I'm going to hang on my wall to advertise my time to cook right in my own kitchen. So I'm so excited about all my new things. Now, one way to test this is to put a little water in. And that water should kind of sizzle a little bit to tell me that it's hot. And it does. We want it to sizzle, not completely evaporate, otherwise you've got it probably too hot. So I am going to put that sesame oil in and allow that to get a little bit warm as well before I start adding my chicken. Again, I am going to start with the chicken first. We'll cook the chicken, and then we'll take the chicken out and cook the vegetables. I have 3/4 pound of chicken. A pound is what the recipe originally called for, so a pound would work just fine if you like a little more protein. Again, beef is also on this recipe. It says a pound of chicken or a pound of beef. You could also make this with pork, shrimp. This recipe really works with any kind of meat you'd like to choose. So our goal here is to get our chicken cooked through. I'm going to probably just turn it down just a tiny bit there, just between medium and medium high. It's a stir fry, so I'm stirring frequently. And when I think it's done, I usually just cut through one piece of chicken to make sure that there is no pink left inside and all of the meat has cooked through. Oh, and I almost forgot, we got to season this. We want to add in our garlic. And we want to add in that ginger that we grated. My garlic and the ginger. It's nice to get the chicken going a little bit first. The ginger and the garlic brown a little faster. Again, I used fresh garlic, I used fresh ginger, but you know, the stuff in the spice jar works just fine too. So I never want to scare anybody away from my recipes just because I've used fresh ingredients. And sometimes I don't have those things on hand, so it's just more convenient to use the seasoning jars. Okay, as you can see, the meat's not completely done yet. We don't want those too hot. Keep trying. The reason for the name stir fry. Ooh, we got a little trouble with the camera there with the heat rising. Back off a little bit, I guess. Let's test that out as I go through it. It cuts pretty easily, and I do not see pink inside. Take the chicken out of the pan, and then we'll get ready to stir fry those vegetables. And then I am going to give it, it's got a fair amount of oil in there, so I'm just going to give it just a little bit more. And we'll let that get hot. Make sure it's covering all the bottom of my pan. Pass a little bit of chicken out of there. I like to start with my carrots and my onions. They take a little longer to cook. My family likes the onions cooked well through. And carrots are more dense than the peppers and the broccoli, so I put those in first. There's a couple peppers mixed in, but that'll be all right. For the most part, that's just my onions and my carrots. Time to stir the stir fry. You can kind of judge as you cook. I thought I had plenty of oil, but as I look at it, I think I'd like just another drizzle all the way around the pan. We're looking for a tender crisp. You want these to be easy to bite into, but we don't want them to turn to a mush. My onions are starting to get a little bit golden. My carrots, on the other hand, are still quite firm, so I'd like to go just a little bit longer with those, and then I will add my broccoli and peppers. Now my carrots are not soft yet, but I'm still going to go ahead and add in my broccoli and my peppers because they do need cooking time as well. So in go those vegetables. I'm going to add a lid to this and build a little steam up. A wok comes with a lid as well, so I think that's a fairly common practice with them. I'm going to give that a little stir here, see how things are coming along. Look at those beautiful colors. But my broccoli's still very firm. I think my carrots are quite to the point that my family likes them. So we're just going to put the lid on again and let them steam a little longer. And then I also got out a cup of cashews, if you saw them when I was showing you my cut up vegetables. I love the little crunch when you add some nuts to stir fry, so that is another option as well. The nuts will go in at the very, very end. They really don't need to cook. I will put them in last. The choice of vegetables is really up to you. We probably had around 4 cups of vegetables in there, so you can use any combination that your family loves. Into my vegetables, I'm now going to add my chicken back in. And I'm going to give this a stir because anytime you use corn flour, you have that suspension where it starts to stick down on the bottom again. And it's time to add that to the pan as well. All right, listen to that sizzle. Now our goal here is to get the liquid to thicken, and that cornstarch will cause that to happen. So we want to let this simmer and bubble a little bit. And we'll look at that shortly. One last thing, I am going to turn my burner down to low. Doesn't that look good? Really, the only way to know if this is done is to try either a carrot or a piece of broccoli and see if it's to the right tenderness that suits your family. My carrot's pretty well done for me. Perfectly done, I mean by that. So I am going to call this a finished stir fry. We'll serve that up with some rice. Oh, can't forget those nuts. Just give a quick stir of those cashews. And this is ready to go to the table. Oh, doesn't that look good? Let's serve some of that up with the rice that we were cooking. So with the rice cooker, I do like to give my rice a little fluff by kind of lifting from the bottom to the top here and loosening it up a little bit. One thing I do like about the rice cooker, I just feel like my rice is more like the rice that you get when you order Chinese for takeout. So nice big helping of rice here, along with some carrots and broccoli and mushrooms and cashews and onions and yellow peppers. Oh, what a bright looking meal that is. I can tell that's going to be really, really hot. But let's see how that sauce tastes. Very, very good. And I just love all these vegetables. What a nice, healthy meal, too. Oh, I'm crying from those onions. Oh. Well, it's time to taste that stir fry. As I said, it's done here. It is looking. My stir fry is not in my video.